Alright guys, this is Canadian, and today we're doing another VOD review. This is going to be for Gold Zarya player My Salmon. Looks like he is playing on PlayStation, which is fine. We don't mind reviewing console here. If this is your first time watching one of these, I am Canadian. I do these reviews pretty regularly. I'm a 4200 Grandmaster Zarya main the last couple seasons. I have a pretty active Zarya YouTube channel. I post Zarya guides, my own Zarya Grandmaster gameplay in every single one of these reviews. So if you want to see any more of that stuff, check it out. There will be links, all around the video. Anyway, today we're going to be looking at My Salmon's gold gameplay on Nepal. Let's get into it.
If we got healer with it too, I gotta.
Yeah. No,
It's a pretty preemptive bubble. So the first thing is you don't know if the enemy team has a Roadhog yet, which is fine. You can't like hit tab and find out yet. But what you could do is just like wait for like visual confirmation. Like right when you turn this corner, now you see a Roadhog right here. So if you had just waited like 1 second, you would have seen this Roadhog, and then you could have made a better decision about if you wanted to use that bubble or not. I think Diva was defense matrixing a little bit. No, she wasn't. She was shooting, which is a plus, but at the same time, like she's in a relative safety. Like she hasn't like dived into the enemy team at all, so there isn't too much opportunity here to get charged. There's not really too much opportunity to get charged here because we haven't assessed the situation. We can't see if they are focusing the Diva. I know the round just started, but maybe the entire enemy team went top left or something, and no one's actually shooting at Diva. So if you want to get initial charge like this, do it with your personal shield. Oh, this isn't going to work. That's way too dark. Do it with your personal shield and not your projected shield.
yeah. No, no.
Yeah, so like right here, she immediately gets hooked, which is unfortunate. Oops. Oh, that was unfortunate. I actually didn't even see where that Reaper came from. I feel like you guys are down a bunch of players. Like I see you, Diva, and Mercy. And that's all I saw this whole time. Like here's you and Diva. We saw Mercy died in the kill feed, but like where is your other three players? Oh, there's one. Okay, there's a Junkrat. And it looks like a Pharah. Oh, here we go. We can see the top. Oh, you have Pharah and Tracer. Okay. So, a very spread out comp. At least you're not solo tank a Zarya. I'd never recommend solo tanking a Zarya. So that's a plus. Good shield there. You waited for him to shoot at you. You took a bit of damage, then you shielded yourself. That's the right way to go about getting that charge. Good discipline not shielding the Roadhog yet until you absolutely needed it. Maybe absolutely needed it is a bit of a stretch, but he did take some damage before you shielded him. You didn't like shield him right away, so that's good too. Your Roadhog, he kind of misplays here. You just shielded him, and he has no abilities. He just used his hook cooldown over here. He needs to like either exit this fight or just something that you could do, not something you did wrong, is you could, with your personal shield, walk in front of him and body block so he can exit safely. That's not something you did wrong per se, just something to keep in mind in the future. Good personal shield there. Reaper was shooting at you, you used it, he stopped shooting, you exited the fight. I mean, textbook good use of shield. Speed this up a little. A little delayed, right? Like, right when he started shooting, you could have shielded just a second sooner. So not like a giant mistake or anything. It's just unfortunate as a Zarya player. Now we don't get any energy from the shield, but your team does a good job cleaning up that Reaper who's completely overextended. Again, good personal shields there after they've already acquired you. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you were trying to shield your Roadhog here, and it just kind of got stuck on this person. So, good. Your head's in the right place. It's just unfortunate that that happened. Good bubble there. Winston's clearly targeting the soldier. You're helping your soldier survive.
McCree's ult, left side, yep. Still fine.
Got him.
Nice on me.
Good job spamming the choke with grenades. It's just you're so close to ultimate, you know, doing this choke spam will probably get you your ult, which is really nice. Now, I'm really hoping in the next, you know, 5 seconds or so, you pull up the scoreboard and look to see if Tracer has a pulse bomb available. That way you guys can get a nice combo off. They don't have any shields except for Winston, and even then, Winston's shield is not going to stop pulse bomb because it's placed, you know, around him, and you can't actually like turn it to block the pulse bomb. Console aim looks really different. Yeah, it definitely does. Let's look at this graph. So we see 3 enemies right here. You know, Roadhog, Winston, and Lucio. We see a soldier off on the side here. You are playing this choke very well. You know, you're forcing them to come through this tight choke point first before you use your graviton. I would have liked you to let them in just a little bit more, so maybe you could have caught the soldier in it, but you're still, you know, you have the right idea, you're making the right play. Although, unfortunately, we didn't see the scoreboard pulled up at all. We don't know if anyone on our team has a combo. I don't think we've communicated that, you know, verbally at all. So that's just something to improve on there. So we get this grab, and unfortunately tanks right into the Winston shield. We thought, our Zarya thought she was in the shield and she would hit them, so it's just a little mistake, but, you know, not a big deal. Catch the Roadhog, then these other 2 get sucked into it. Your Zenyatta's doing a bunch of work. He tossing his Discord on everybody. The attack visor comes out. You do a great job. You hear the attack visor with via the audio cue. You look at your soldier, you shield him, which is perfect. You definitely want to consistently shield your allies that are using ultimates. That way they can get the whole thing off and win you that team fight. By the way, I haven't mentioned your reload yet, but so far so good. You know, you're using majority of your mag in these fights, and then you're reloading when no one's around. Like right here, you reloading and you're hugging this corner, and like now that you see Roadhog, you'll be able to engage on him. But like you didn't reload after you'd already seen Roadhog, if that makes sense. So I think you're doing a really good job with the reloads, by the way. Another great personal shield right here, helping you win this 1v1. He's shooting you, you're shooting him, you pop the shield, you give yourself the advantage. It's a great kill. Again, just really solid Zarya play, solid foundations that you have, and then like I said, you activated this reload, went around the corner, and then the Roadhog shows up. So this is the example of like a perfect reload to Zarya. Now good, again, your mind is in the right place. You saw the enemy Roadhog toss out his hook, and you were ready with a bubble to shield whoever it was. I think you're overextending a little bit though. So you guys have control of the point, right? And like I was saying before, when you grabbed, you want to really use this choke to your advantage, you know, for either for grenade spam and stuff like that. So when you push in, I know you have shield. You're, by the way, great hook by your hog. And just as a tidbit, not saying you should have done this in this exact situation, but when you see a Junkrat die like this, you can use your personal shield and just walk over his dead body and get a bunch of free charge. So right here, I know you have barrier and you want to play aggressive, so I like the decision. It's just I think just a little bit too aggressive. So there's definitely a fine line between being too aggressive and too passive, and you were dancing right on it with how close you were playing to the choke before. But I think this right here is just a little bit too far because, you know, you get a great barrier up here to stop Roadhog hooking you, but now you have so much time to get back to your team. If this Roadhog shoots you one more time, you won't have the shield, and both him and Winston will probably just kill you. I think you're going to be okay because you've been, like I said, you've been just dancing precariously on this line, right? You do a great job of realizing your barrier is gone, you can't really win that fight, you've done as much as you can, and you're backing out. This would be the time to reload, by the way. Just right here, you know, you've exited the fight, nothing's happening. You could have taken like a second there to reload. But again, not a big deal. It's not like you're getting punished for it. So far, your personal shield juice is really on point. You're playing your advantage really well. That 2 second advantage you have if you pop the shield, move forward, it expires, you move back. You're doing it extremely well. And I know I keep pointing it out, but it's just because it's clear that you really have that window of understanding about how to position with her personal shield down. Like you're doing it very well. Like again, look here, great discipline to not use your personal shield because no one's shooting at you yet, right? And then once the Junkrat starts shooting at you, we see our Zarya pop her shield. So again, just good discipline. The Roadhog has your number, but the Zenyatta ult comes through.
Nice, Jenny, thank you.
All right. By the way, I always say thank your healers, and I just heard in voice comms the Zarya player was like, "Thank you, Zenyatta. What a good guy."
He's on point now.
Get hot, he's weak, he's ulting weak.
I haven't seen many projected barriers in a while. I just don't really think you've needed them too much. Like that one was fine. Winston's fighting someone, you get a good barrier there. And then I don't think you use one here. Yeah, you don't really use one in this fight. And you guys just win this first round pretty handedly. So a lot of the positives I'm seeing is you're doing your job as a tank, as Zarya, extremely well. You're creating all this space, all these advantages for your team with your aggressive positioning. Now, at times, I think it was maybe a little bit too aggressive, and maybe at higher skill levels, you would be punished for it pretty heavily. But at where you're at, you have a great understanding of both how aggressive you can be and how aggressive the enemy's going to be. At least that's what it looks like from this first round, right? You were playing so aggressive, and the enemy team wasn't capitalizing on it. They weren't punishing you. So far, so good. Your personal shield juice is really good. Your one graviton was very good also. The one gripe there was you didn't really communicate. You were ulting, at least I didn't hear it, and you didn't look for any combos. That's something I hope to see going forward in the rest of this match. And your projected barrier use, you didn't use too many projected barriers, which in my book is always like a plus. It just means in my head you have it ready more often to either assist an ally or save a teammate. So we saw you shielded someone that got hooked, I believe, at one point in the last round, and you shielded your soldier when he was ulting. So again, both really good projected barriers. I don't think and then you had like one near the end, but that was a fight has been one projected barrier. So that one's fine. So far that first round was really solid. I think the one thing, just a small thing, is maybe work grenades a little bit more into your Zarya attack rotation. You're relying a lot on beam, which is fine, but just don't forget the power of Zarya's grenade. Now let's move on to round two. Hopefully some of the positives we saw in the last round carry forward, and some of the negatives we saw are minimized.
Get Lucio, get a Reaper. Reaper's coming around left.
Good personal shield there. You're obviously getting focused. You're shielding yourself. Oh, that was a perfect grenade. I was literally just saying it, and this was a perfect grenade. So Lucio, he jumps, right? And Lucio has to follow this arc now. And you do a great job of looking where he's going to land, and you get a grenade off. The other half of it is, now that you've knocked him up, try and track him in the air with beam since he has a predictable pattern, or land another grenade. But this first grenade was really good.
Left side behind us is Reaper.
Yep.
He's coming from our spawn, ground level.
Yeah, so I like how you still haven't used your projected barrier, and while that sounds like weird to say that you have this cooldown you haven't used yet, watching from your perspective, there hasn't really been like a really great projected barrier yet, if that makes sense. Right here, Winston's shooting you and not Soldier, so you don't need to bubble him. And then right here, maybe this one on your Roadhog was probably your best opportunity for a barrier, but even then, you look around because someone's calling Winston behind you, but nothing happens. So it's still It's fine. And then unfortunately right here, your soldier does get killed behind you, but since he wasn't in your line of sight, you couldn't have buried him anyway. So I think so far you're playing this fight really well.
Soldier is at this point.
Let's see. Right here, you probably could have grenaded the terrain a little bit more instead of the ground. So you were trying to get a direct impact on the soldier with grenades, but right here, just shoot the wall right here. Since like between the floor, soldier, and the wall is definitely the easiest one to shoot, and he'll still get hit by the splash.
That soldier is Discord.
Got him.
Mercy is Discord.
Mercy has Discord.
See, look right there. That was a great bubble. You've been
Got him.
really holding it this whole time to make an impact, and you know your Roadhog's drinking, just getting completely peppered by this Reaper, and you're like, yo buddy, I gotta bubble this for you. And then like again, you save his life, he gets healed by Mercy. Now this Reaper is kind of out of position, and look, you kept your Roadhog up and you turned that advantage into a kill. So you only used one projected barrier this fight, but it's a great barrier. You know, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So I think you've been doing a really good job with your kit as Zarya in this fight.
Nice job, Hog.
Again, good discipline with your personal shield. No one has shot at you yet, so you still haven't used it. So here, Winston shoots you, you use your shield. Perfect.
Get Lucio, he's weak.
Yeah, so right here is just I recommend, and again, this isn't something you're doing wrong, it's just something you could improve on, is right when he jumps right there, that's a perfect time to grenade, just like you did earlier. But, you know, you clean him up with beam, which is totally fine.
Mercy's got res. There she is.
Oh, this reload, I would have to say, is probably your worst one so far. I mean, it's not a big deal because you guys have definitely won the fight, right? The kill feed's just been lighting up with your team on the left-hand side. So you killed this Reaper, and then you saw Mercy on the stairs before, so you know she's there. And instead of shooting her right here, you reload. And again, it's a really small thing. It's not too much of a mistake because I think you as a Zarya player know you've won this fight. Just hopefully that this habit doesn't like trickle into other more important engagements, if that makes sense.
Hog's without hook.
He's Discorded.
Okay, Hog's without hook right now. Hog's without hook.
Yeah, so there was a reload right here that you missed. So you're at 31 ammo, and you go up the stairs and you're looking away from the team. So you have one of two choices here. Either look at the enemy team and use the rest of your 31 ammo, or look away from the team and reload. Now, the better option, in my opinion, is to use the rest of the 31 ammo on the team as you're backing up. But since you're choosing not to do that, you definitely want to take this opportunity to reload so you can re-enter the fight with full ammo.
Lucio's got Discord.
Your team is fragging out pretty hard. You can speed this up a little bit.
That's theirs.
Oh wow, that was a great reaction by your Zenyatta.
That's theirs. That's theirs.
This Reaper like totally snuck up on you guys. Unfortunately, he kills Mercy really quickly. Nothing you could do there. Obviously, a great shield on yourself, an even better ultimate by your allied Zenyatta. So again, now we have Graviton and we have a Tracer. I really want to see the communication come out between you and Tracer. Say, hey, I've got a Grav. Do you have a bomb? Let's make this a thing. Let's have a baby that goes boom. Because the enemy team, like I said, they only have a Winston for any sort of shields. So if you get the Mercy in the Graviton and you get the Pulse Bomb combo off, like there's no coming back from that for the enemy team. That's just a team fight one for you guys. Oh, look, she had bomb and she just used it. So, well, it's unfortunate. You're clearly talking, and I really wish you would have said something. It's also, you know, the Tracer's prerogative to communicate with you, the Zarya. So it goes both ways, and it's really unfortunate that she decided to do that.
That Lucio's got Discord. Roadhog has it.
Again, you still have your projected barrier, and oh, this is Oh, okay. I see the grab happening, and I was just about to say that now that they've used sound barrier, which is the biggest threat to grab, you can just wait this out and then grab. But unfortunately, I think the enemy sound barrier kind of baits you in, and you just saw Tracer use her pulse bomb. So unless Roadhog has Whole Hog, which again I don't know, we haven't really seen the scoreboard or been communicating asking Roadhog, this is going to be really tough to capitalize on. If we go back, I think we can clearly see the Lucio, or at least hear that he uses sound barrier very early on, and we can make a quick decision to hold Graviton until the Lucio ult fades, which is the best case scenario. Yeah, so right here we hear it and we see it. So as Zarya, we're like, okay, wait, I can hold this grab until this is gone. But unfortunately, we do Graviton at the same time. I'm really hoping that we have follow-up from the rest of our team, since most of our teammates are alive. We know our Roadhog is just to the left here. We just saw him on screen. And hopefully he gets a whole hog and is able to mosey on in here. And if he does do that, I want to see you toss a bubble onto him. Yeah, see, I mean, you did a great job of catching A lot of members, and B, definitely the Mercy. It's just the communication was definitely lacking between you and Tracer and you and Roadhog. Now, like I said, you have the follow-up from your team in your head. Zarya, you know that your team, your DPS is here, so it works out. It's just, this grab is good. It just could have been a little bit better with communication and maybe waiting for the enemy sound barrier to go away. Good shields in that fight to protect yourself, as well as your Roadhog, enable him to secure a bunch of these kills. Enemy team is trickling really hard. That Soldier and that Roadhog both just trickled like crazy. The Mercy just trickled herself. I mean, the enemy team is just throwing their bodies at you, giving you so much percentage. Yeah, and now they have to throw their bodies at the point because, you know, it's expiring. So, that round, you know, I talked about the Graviton already, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. The main thing I want to mention is how disciplined you are with your projected barriers, really trying to get the best value out of them versus how many you can get out. Like we saw, I think in that round, I want to say you used maybe 4 projected barriers, and while that sounds like a really low number, you were just constantly on the lookout for good value for your barriers. You know, if someone's getting hooked, you're there with a barrier. If someone's getting dove in the backline, you were there with a barrier. So good job there, good discipline. And if you see that the enemy team is playing as passive as they are, you know, don't be afraid to use your personal shield to really try and get your energy up, which we saw a lot of in the first round. We didn't see it too much in that second round because the enemy team was staggering themselves a lot. They didn't really have a coordinated push after about the 50% mark. So that's not really your fault. And, you know, as a whole, I think you're doing really well. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on the right hand side. And if you want to see more videos, check out these two on the left. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a good one.